Oh, it's go time. It's go time. This episode of the live stream brought to you by my email list. Head on over to gimme.scamstuff.com. That's gimme.scamstuff.com. Sign up for a free giveaway, and you'll get an email from me, yours truly, your boy, the OG, the oldest YouTuber who's talking to you right now. It's Brian Brushwood. All right, we are off to the races, and we're going to see who comes in first over on Twitch, who comes in first over on the Modern Rogue chat. I forgot to make this public. Wait, it does say it's public, but it also doesn't say it's showing, except for now it totally is showing. We are now 10 seconds in, and the contest is really on, as we see just how gorgeous. I haven't shown you the real shot. This, what you're seeing right here, not the real shot. This, all old and busted. This old news. Can you believe it's been barely 3 months? Barely 3 months since we've redesigned this entire studio. And the winner is Dead Polymers in at 10 seconds. Double bonus points for calling his time. Well done. Flying Car 100. Oh, so close. So close. Meryl Barr stunted, but a bit too late. Oh, my goodness. Meryl, I'm so happy that you're here, man. No lie, Meryl and all of you guys who were here for those first couple of very tentative little itty bitty steps made such a big difference. Hello, Joshua Van Allen. Hello, Wandering Hippie. Hello, all you beautiful, beautiful bastards, you demon hordes of the internet. You irascible, unstoppable rogues. G. James B over in Twitch. I am. I know G. James B is always the first. And that's why Twitch is the live feed right into my noggin. Hey, Toffin. Howdy from the UK. Hey, we're going to drop a new episode of The Modern Rogue. I want you guys to help me come up with the title for it. In this one, Ryer and I, we go back in time to 9/11. And we use fire to melt steel beams. We create a medieval blowtorch. So right now, I don't know, Joshua Van Allen, I liked it better when it said, "How's my date going?" Because I feel like I'm having a date with destiny. And I'll tell you what, if I am having a date with destiny, that would make sense because take a look. This right here, OBS, Tiny 2. Great cam. Little problem. Sits there on the monitor. Watch this. If I get passionate, see that? Look at that. Now, I'd like to believe that with the might of Thanos, I'm able to make worlds shudder as the world tears asunder. Hello, Randall Smith. But you and I both know that's an itty-bitty camera with an itty-bitty CCD sitting on top of a monitor, and one thing jiggles another thing, jiggles another thing. Now, you want to get somewhere, you got to check out the new hotness. Right here. Take a look at this. Oh, I'm sorry. Did somebody say shallow depth of field? What? Oh, bring in the slow jam. That's right. Now, the one problem is I haven't set up Stream Deck buttons for this guy, but we're gonna. God, can you guys believe how much this studio has changed? I mean, look at this. And it's just getting faster and faster and faster. Oh, wait. See, this is how you know I'm serious about my customer service, is I interrupt the live stream to answer somebody checking on their order. Ryer is crushing it. Take a look at, oh my God. Oh, this is one of the things I wanted to do. Check this out. Oh my goodness. This is fantastic. I guess the best way to do it would be this. Oh, I'm so stoked. Check this out. Ryer sent me this image, and I'm going to hold it up, and it's going to be in focus. Those are ballyhoos going out. Oh, you know what? I don't have exposure. Wait, but I could do it right here. Watch this. Oh. It's time. Oh, HDR? We've got HDR? Nobody told me we had HDR. HDR. I don't know if I like it. Auto exposure. Let's automatically expose. Look at that. Oh, that's tasty. So, those are ballyhoos going out. By the way, now's a really good time to head on over to scamstuff.com. That's gear for the modern rogue. Grab yourself ballyhoo. He's able to get them out 30 per day. Finally. Oh my God. What blessed, patient, sainted rogues. Sainted rogues, all of you. With the beatific grace of 10,000 Buddhas. As you guys waited. Oh no, I just bragged and then I kicked it. So, hold on. Hey, Zachary, good to see you, man. I'm glad that worked out. Yay. So, I guess what I want... You know what? I guess I'll use the app. I am a bit vexed. There we go. Ah, yes. I am a bit vexed by the fact that that this is the only one that I have. I want all three of these. Look at that. Oh, look at that hairline. Ugh. Nice jawline. Symmetrical. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Oh, this is happening. Oh, we're all the way in. We can have Fight Club every night now, guys. This moment of joy and ecstasy brought to you by patreon.com/modernrogue. You guys got the first 3 months of 2025 for FREE freezies, but guess what? I intend to give you even more. Even more! Beautiful, beautiful nonsense shenanigans, live content. Did somebody say podcast? I didn't say that out loud just now. But seems to me now would be a good time to head on over to patreon.com/modernrogue, I think. I don't know. I should probably know. I believe it's at Modern Rogue because there's a lot more coming. Yeah, it's going to be great, guys. It's going to be really, really great. But anyway, this right here, there we go. This is fine. Fine. It's fine. It's a fine two-shot. Oh, but this, I can say, come on, get on me. Okay, that was a little bit scary there for a second. Yeah, no, that's where I want my face. So this should... Well, that's not right. Did somebody do what I think they just did? Oh, they did. You guys are the best. All right. Oh man. Look at that ear. Look at that. Any of y'all thought I was 30? Take that. You don't get them crow's feet without working for them. God, I'm the youngest old man I know. It's great. Stop. Okay, I was... come on, man. Come on, man. That's not... I'm just saying. You don't have to be like that. How do I turn this off? No. Sorry, guys. I really apologize. Turn off the object tracking. Off. There we go. Oh, thank goodness. I promise. No more of that. No more of that. So I did get a what up NRBD 76 Jane and X Jinx Gouchum. So good to see you, Captain Fubar. I see you. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the plan today. First of all, taking a look around. Well, you know what? I have this guy just sitting here ready. So, here's what'll happen. This guy right here, some of you guys saw last night we unboxed. Let me see if I can get it to follow me. There we go. So this guy moves, and it's got a nice big, I don't know, lens. And it's just one of 3 of these guys coming in. And that's going to be great. But I don't like the real estate that it's taking up right here, because if you take a look, I got this little stick, this stick light here, and when it goes to this shot, you can see it takes up all of this, which I'm not a fan of. So, I'm gonna get over here. Hang on. Oh, so many golden play buttons. There we go. So this right here, you can see, well, it's just a wall. That's it. That's where I'm going to mount one of those light triangles that's going to poke out. And then what I'll be able to do, I don't know if I can. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so this right here, ever since for the last 3 months, ever since we started trying on these cameras, this has felt like a tell that the CCD is a, shall we say, affordably priced webcam quality. So let's try this. Let's see. Oh no, it's fighting. It's fighting for control. Get out of here with your gimbal and your view. Now turn on your gimbal and your view. What? How do I disable my face tracking? Okay. Oh, I see you double tap. Well, that seems rational. So let's see what this light. Oh, that looks considerably better. Those blues do not blast out. Hey, Custom P, Charizard Colby. You know what? Let's play a game. Anybody watching this after the fact? Who's got somebody? And by the way, this is like red meat to a Brian Brushwood who loves helping people. Let's take a look at Charizard Colby, a brand new channel from a fan of the Mono Rogue, which means he's good by me. And let's take a look at this media shot. And we're going to go Charizard Colby. Is this the one with 24 subscribers? All right. Join me on my new Pokemon channel, where the emphasis will be on collecting and trading Pokemon as we build the Charizard. Okay, so I got a little bit of advice right here off the top, and I would worry about giving you advice, except for you asked for it. So I think we're good there. But here's a pro tip, is notice, in general, always put yourself in the position of the person surfing for it, a prospective fan. So in this case, in the first two, so we know it's going to cut off here at the beginning. And you know what? For comparison, this is a good excuse for us to check out our own site and see how it presents. Okay, yeah. So Brian Brushwood and friends field test the things that will make you the most interesting, and then it cuts off. So if I was giving advice to myself, I would say, I don't love that you put yourself first, but you have this kind of ambiguous looking logo, so you need to understand at least something. So subject and friends, okay. Field test, that means they're doing things that will make you interesting. Yeah, I want to be interesting, I'll do that, right? So same thing, Charizard, Colby. We'll take a look. Join me. So in this case, we have a name that I assume is yours, and it says join me on my new Pokemon channel where the emphasis will be on collecting and trading Pokemon. So instead, I would maybe say, do you love Pokemon enough to blank? Whenever possible, I try to figure out, you'll notice this in the shorts. Most shorts, I know, Jinx, sorry about that. Most shorts tend to be a means to an end. The end being go watch the long video or whatever. And I try to create shorts assuming that they are going to be an end unto themselves. Like if this one short is the only interaction with this channel that somebody's ever going to have for the rest of their life, what do I want to say in that 1 minute? I want to make it absolutely complete. And then once I have that 1 minute, I'll even cut it down. I'll be like, the first 10 seconds. If I only get 10 seconds and that's it. Oh, look what I did. I did a gesture thing. Whoops. If I only get 10 seconds, what would I do? And I consider that an audition. Okay, this is all kinds of freaking out on me. Doesn't matter. So with that in mind, you want to figure out how to give them a gift as fast as possible. So in this case, join me on my new Pokemon channel. You could say, do you love Pokemon enough to blank? And what's a crazy thing you do? Enough to, you know, and you can be hyperbolic and overstate it. I mean, it's YouTube. You'll notice that best practices for titles and thumbnails are a little bit over the top, right? And then, so emphasis on collecting and trading Pokemon. As we build the Charizard, I'm going to click on the rest. I'm going to hit more. Ah, here we go. So here's what I would do. I would cut everything out, and I would begin with, I would capitalize this D, and I would say, discover new deals, exclamation point. Forge friendships, exclamation point. And I wouldn't even say and. I would say share stories. And then you say, I am Colby. Or you could say, I am Colby, comma, this is my Bengal cat Yuki, ... And then this is kind of classic Brian bombast, a little bit over the top. I'd say, you know, I'm Colby. This is my beloved cat Yuki or Bengal cat Yuki, ... And we are so glad you finally arrived, and we've been waiting for you, or something. Then that way you get action verbs and stuff on there. But also, here's another. You did do a great thing in that you did all of the hashtags. I don't know how long this is going to work, but especially when you're just getting started, because I've been paying a lot of attention to the NewTuber subreddit, and a lot of, to go from 0 to 1, you got to just try a lot of stuff, and you never know how long any particular thing will work. But for now, definitely throw everything on there. I would guess within a year or two, the robots are going to understand well enough that, you know, just by being and doing whatever it is you be and do will be enough, which will be interesting. But here, let's take a look at some of the content here. Look at this. Wow, not bad. Okay, so here's another pro tip. Do an incognito browser or in private, whatever they want to call it, and begin by being what in the ad biz they would call inhabit your customer avatar. Basically, think of who the ideal person to watch your channel is, and then experience YouTube as that person. So in this case, I guess, you know what? Let me, I'm getting fast enough I can actually do this on the fly. Heck yeah. So let's go bot 1. That'll be the Declan Quad 3. And instead of bot 4, we're going to do media safe-ish. Almost. Hang on. Let me just crop that left. Oh, no. Oh, no. Whatever. Okay, it doesn't matter. So in this case, we'll go to YouTube, and you'll notice, check that out. There is no YouTube front page. You have to pretend to be someone. So let's say Pokemon. And so in the case of Pokemon, I pay attention to what all these are, and I just assume all of these are occupied niches. A niche is basically like a clubhouse. They're full. An occupied niche means somebody's already, you'd have to argue to work your way in there, right? So maybe I do Pokemon trading. Yeah. Or, and then funny. There you go. So then, you know, you're somebody who, and then just kind of browse around pretending to be them. And then you're like, oh, these are the people that I'm seeing. And so these are good because in general, you want your title and thumbnail to be congruent, and people don't want to be annoyed or surprised by what they find there. And so once you look around, you'll figure out, oh, here's a way I can be different from everyone. So in this case, very clearly, the cards are the star of the channel, which is good because maybe somebody doesn't know anything about you. I do love this. This is growing on me. I might, you want to take advantage of this negative space here? I'll show you a trick. So this is called, so right now, whatever it is that you put in here is this, but weirdly, human brains love solving puzzles. And so this shot is an accurate representation of me and what's going on here. But I want you to see, well, here, I'll just do this, right? Okay, so now I just took a screenshot of this. I'm going to show you this screenshot. Okay, that's a fine screenshot and it's accurate, but it would also be accurate if you did something like this. So in that case, I'm showing less, but there's something a little bit mysterious and your brain wants to fill in the gaps. So even there's a lot of dead space there. So if I wanted to convey, there's a guy and, you know, I don't know, he's got a set. I might do something closer to that. Although usually that's kind of code for he's got something to hide. But in this case, you can take this dead space here and you can, nobody is upset when they see a cat. So you can have that cat, you can cut off a little bit of your kitty's face on there. All right, let's take a look at...
All right, here we have one of the worst cards in my collection. Second to a card that PSA 10 would be worth almost 9,000, but I'll show you guys that card later. This one, XY Evolutions from 2016, Reverse Hollow. And as you can see, the PSA jumps from 42 to almost 450 in a 10. It's hard to keep these cards clean. All have experienced this. I just wanted a copy for my collection regardless, so went ahead and picked up this one. We're going to keep it in here and hopefully it flattens out.
Okay, this is great. So in this case, if I assume this is the rhythm of the channel, then it's an information-based channel. So people are there to get information like I want to know what this one is or that one. That basically you want that dopamine hit. And this is a trick that, well, I'll say trick, makes it sound like it's screwing somebody over. It's not. It's basically, it's an effective way to gauge interest. So Casey Kasem was the DJ that did American Top 40 back in the day, like starting in the 1960s. And he had, all the records would send, record companies, the publishers would give him a whole bunch of facts. Hey, tell this story about Elvis. Tell this story about whatever. And it was filler just before the ads. And most DJs would be like, did you know that Elvis was 7 foot, 12 inches tall? And whatever. And he realized, Casey Kasem did, that he could get people to stick around through the ad break by withholding information. And this is one of those tricks like Teller told me in that letter from 25 years ago. If you haven't read that letter, you should go read that letter. He said, withhold information, place 2 and 2 in front of me, convince me it's 5, then reveal the truth 4 and blow me away. And he cites Alfred Hitchcock and Roald Dahl. So in this case, the exact same information can be revealed, and you can make the viewer at home feel like a character on the journey by saying, whatever the card is. So in this case, it was a Charizard XY. And then you can, some people do it as a challenge. What do you think? This much, that much? It's worth blank. But as long as there's a little gap where people get to project themselves and wonder, then and then you get to collapse that and you get that aha moment. That's great. Oh, by the way, speaking of aha moments, aha, how neat is it that this guy, there we go. Oh, wait. Oh, I guess there we go. There we go. You can position this off to the side. That's all I wanted to say. But so it doesn't have to be confrontational either. You can also give people a gap. You can make yourself a character in the past. You're like, when I looked this up, and then you could drive it with emotion. When I looked up this card, I was nervous because I thought it was going to be worth blank or blank. Now, you're talking about yourself in an autobiographical way. Humans like characters more than spreadsheets. But also, you're giving them an opportunity to project into your shoes and imagine how they would feel or think in there as well. So it's a minor little thing in there. And then the test I run is, what does it look like in every short? I watch 3 ways. I watch imagining that I'm only going to watch 10 seconds. I watch it imagining I'm going to watch the full 1 minute. And also, I try not to do my shorts longer than 1 minute. And then I see if the short plays longer than a minute. And that's the sweet spot, because if your opening 10 seconds can be an act 1, but then, you don't have to play the perfect loop game if you think that's gross. But if your act 1 is good enough that with the knowledge of the full story, it changes the context, then people go back and watch it again. Thank you, Jinx. This, by the way, the stuff I'm doing right now, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life is give unsolicited, solicited advice. Let's see what else. Okay. So, this is interesting. So you could also look at the structure here. You'll notice that, Oh, wait. These are everybody else's. So,
all right.
Shorts also have a bit of a different rule set, because you'll notice shorts, when you're in the feed, you do. Oh, by the way, I'll give that a thumbs up. You don't get to get the social proof of how many people watched it. You only get that at the audition phase when it says here for you. And then this is your clue as to what social psychologists call social proof. There's a book called Influence by Robert Cialdini. And social proof is the reason that we trust Yelp reviews, Uber ratings, and it's also the reason that we have like laugh tracks on sitcoms, that kind of thing. So that number And we all do it. As a matter of fact, YouTube was the first to kind of weaponize and gamify putting your numbers out there. But this tells me a lot. Who you are. This lets me know kind of what kind of crowd you have and how serious you are. So this also helps to set expectations so you can blow that number up. And so similarly, let's say you ain't never heard of a modern rogue before, then well, this certainly doesn't give you much of a clue. This is kind of more of an inside sauce thing. But you're like, well, whatever it is, I guess it's a thing, and I guess they do a lot of them. And oh, this is fun. Are they all shorts? You don't do videos? This is, to be honest, I like hearing this because that implies to me that my theory is right and that YouTube, by virtue of taking shorts seriously, is just going to continue. Like they have, it's as close to a meritocracy as you're going to find. It's becoming an efficient market, which, to be honest, I am not certain I love, but that's fine either way. So likewise, we could dive into titles, but maybe we'll save that for another time. I hit you with a lot. Yeah, no, we'll save it. We'll save it. I can only give so much gold at once. There we go. Now it should recognize my face. I don't know, guys. I dig this. Can you believe that depth of field? Like in focus, out of focus. Maybe I don't hate this being in there now. This does kind of give you a little bit of a, kind of a whole, look at that depth. Right? That should be the thumbnail for this. Come on, bring me your thumbnails. Bring me your YouTube channel, and I will make you a success. All right. Okay, speaking of which, I guess we gotta do the other thing. Hey, thank you to everybody who tuned in for our crazy live stream. Oh, I gotta tell this to stop expecting faces. Yeah, there we go. Look at that back of my head. All right. Oh, you want Kelsar? No, you missed it before. I don't know. I don't know if we should. I don't know if we should. We shouldn't. We shouldn't. We shouldn't. Shouldn't. This is Frameline Magnetism. This guy's seen some stuff. Interesting. That's my Jack Black impression. I wonder if there's a world record for this. Oh. Yep. Okay. So let's talk about launching this episode of The Modern Rogue. Let's go to YouTube Studio. Gonna change. Oh, although I would like to point out really quick, we'll just do this real fast. I just want to shouts out to the incredible Zoom. So if you guys missed it, here, we'll get rid of this. If you guys missed it, this new camera was able to stream like straight from the camera. So this is out on the gazebo at MRHQ, and it's hardwired into a Eero Wi-Fi repeater. Let's see. I think this is, yeah, here we go. So it's right here. And it's doing its own live streaming. So you can see that I actually haven't even seen what the locally recorded footage is. This footage that you're seeing right now is captured on HDMI, but this one, I haven't even looked at what's on the SD card. But this zoom is monstrous. So look at this. This is from, I don't know, 200 yards away, I think. And then when it comes out, I just put my hand up, and then it correctly started tracking me and got all the way up there. But there we go. Hey-o, Poop Tempest in the Twitch chat. Hey-o, Charizard, Colby. I hope that worked out for you. Let's see. Hey, Jeremy Sims. Hey, Mork. The Modern Rouge. And then this is the shot I wanted you guys to see. And then we'll, for reals, we're going to get it started. No messing around. There we go. Like, that definitely looks like it's having humans.
Wow. That looks good, right?
Yes, it does, Past Brian.
That looks way better than I thought.
The case I have on my phone is, I have forgotten the name of it. Somebody in the chat will find it, but I love it with all of my being. It's a minimalist case. It's like a 100 something, maybe $100. But the guys who made it actually watched the Modern Rogue, and they caught me wearing it, rocking it in the hotel video, and they ended up reaching out. They were passing through on their way over to Las Vegas. Oh, look at this. It's actually, this camera got bored of watching me and decided to watch me.
Good, guys. That's pretty good.
That's hilarious. Okay, so now I gotta move this back.
Kind of the prototypical Brian shot. Man. All right.
Quiet, Brian.
Everything back in.
That's the kind of things I would say.
I kind of want to just do this all day, but
Well, guess what? You do. Spoiler alert. Is you in the future. This is you watching your own content. Back in the past. Okay. Yeah. That's a fine shot. Okay, so let me switch on over and we'll tee everything up. Let's talk titles. In general, my big plays are, yes, go ahead and plan on everything being polishable in the future. That's a good thing for creators to do. The where's media safe? Oh, it's right here. There you go. Okay. But number one, I'm selling stock in polish. Ironic, I know, because I'm very excited about the quality of these cameras. However, you'll notice that I'm excited about them because they are showing the authentic me. I am selling stock in polish. Polish is now Comic Sans. It's you know what it is? It's papyrus. Here's a fun fact. Did you guys know that papyrus was created in 1982 along with two other great things? One of them was in 1982, the #1 best procedural man on the run drama, Knight Rider, came out. Thank you very much for the hundos. Number 2, the very best Star Trek movie, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, came out. And number 3, a little font called Papyrus came out. A little bit janky, a little bit exotic. It was cute. It was vector-based, and it looked a little bit like what America would guess the I don't know, Far East would look like. And it would have, in one timeline, sat in obscurity. Instead, we live in the timeline where in the mid-90s, late 90s, it showed up as one of the true type fonts built into Windows 95, at which point, in a menu setting, it was the most interesting of all of the fonts. Oh, I accidentally triggered the thing. At which point, people overused it for everything. And eventually, Say It With Papyrus, a blog popped up by 2012. In the early aughts, there was a version for Mac. But basically, Papyrus got overused, and it became synonymous with low effort. That is what I expect from all of these gee whiz polish things. The fact that a properly formatted email is code for a robot did it means that there's a lot of emails, if they have properly formatted emojis, not looking at it. If they have bolded and then bulleted whatever this is, it's low effort garbage, and I don't look at it. So instead, let robots work to bring out your authenticity. And the reason I bring all that up is humans are very, very good at smelling when something is slightly off. It's called the uncanny valley for a reason. And as Gavin de Becker in his book, The Gift of Fear, put it, humans, we don't have thick scales. We ain't got no claws. We don't have sharp teeth. We got one thing. We have a supremely finely honed intuition, a finely honed sense in the ganglia of our gut that tells us when something is off. And with that being the case, in general, everybody who's low effort is like, oh, gee whiz, I can have polish now. Sure, but polish is cheap. It's all papyrus. And yes, I'm fine with polishing up. And keep in mind, there's magical parts of using AI for upscaling. A lot of you guys have seen me recover old footage from the mid-aughts, early days with Brian Brushwood on the road, stuff from Scam School and stuff. All of that is in service, though, artistically, of bringing back more authentic human events, which, by the way, is a good reason for me to remind you guys that this episode of whatever it is that we're doing here is brought to you by the fine folks over at Founders Day. This April 5th, we're going to have a get-together right here at Modern Rogue World Headquarters. Why don't you come on out and join us? Head on over to foundersdaypicnic.com, just $99. That'll get you fed. That'll get you facilities. Foundersdaypicnic.com. We're going to have a concert. The Jomo and the Possum Posse are going to be performing. And we're going to have a full bucket show from Matt and Mattingly, the supremely talented improv comedy duo that are going to crack you up. And we're going to have a goat beauty contest. What does that mean? Don't know. Haven't figured it out yet. But if you want to sponsor a goat, you could get a goat ticket and you could sponsor a goat in our goat beauty contest. Real events brought to you by cameras like these. So, in service of all that, let's launch this video. I guess one thing that first of all, this thumbnail, guys, you are not prepared. Let me find this thumbnail. Download. Look at that. Look at that. So the episode, that's a fine thumbnail. And we've been trying on ABC testing. But what I like about it is, first of all, it's human-centric, because you guys noticed one of the big criticisms we got ever since the beginning of Monologue is so much talking could have been covered shorter. You know what would have been even faster? A GIF. Or a sentence or a tweet. We're here for the human stuff. So that sly moment, that if I remember correctly, Ryer gives this side-eye look when he says, when I say something about 9/11, and he glances straight to camera, which is a stylistic no-no in my book. I am not a fan of direct-to-camera unless there's only two characters in the room. I like my Modern Rogue being a TV show, and I like those brief moments. You know, in an ad is fine, but in this case, oh, chef's kiss, that side eye look. So in this case, you get the whole story. You want a title that's congruent with it, because what we're doing is we're creating and testing a medieval blowtorch. Oh, so we do have an ABC. Wait, it's not out, is it? No. Okay, yeah, I just have the one. All right. So now we got to talk titles. We could just say the thing that it is. It is a medieval blowtorch. We could do making a medieval blowtorch. That is the style guide that we do. I also like a bit of implication, a hint, a shadow. There's a very good book here. Let me grab it for you. We're going all in, man. You guys are getting the real sauce. There you go. 1 second. This book right here, The Power of Glamour by Virginia Postrel. She was editor-in-chief of Reason Magazine. She is one of the few humans I've ever heard of who donated a kidney to whom? First come, first serve. Better than Ned Flanders, because she's a real person. Also, the filmmaker Penny Lane did the same thing as well. You should definitely watch the documentary Confessions of a Good Samaritan. But The Power of Glamour, take a look at this book. This is one of those where you can kind of get the whole story just all at once. What are you most interested in? What she's looking at. Humans love projecting into the shadows. That's where I'm reminded of that line from that old Family Guy where Peter has a boat, but he could trade it for a mystery box. And he says, boat's just a boat, but a mystery box could be anything. Could even have a boat. And so that's the reason Frameline Magnetism works. And there's so many great examples in here of just like, silhouettes being more powerful than the entire image. And that's part of the reason that I love the larger than life over the topness that we do. Look at that. If this is true, what else is true? Like you see that, and that is action all implied in one frame. That's what I aspire to do when I try to make the first 10 seconds of a short so good that, there we go. Looking off. What are people looking off into? That's, what else we got? Look at that. Action, motion. Like wherever the story is, it's not there with that plane. It's off. It's outside of the frame. Anyway, I love this stuff. So, in this case, we do have, for my tastes, a sufficiently glamorous Ryer and an accurate depiction of the jet. And so the question is on the title, if we want to oh wait, don't go there yet. We're all going to watch it when it premieres. So this is a case where let me do this. Robots are super duper good. Let me see. There we go. So, the AI bots, you got to remember, they're trained on humans, right? So, this is one of those things where it feels a little bit like I get an unfair advantage from 25 years, 30 years of being a magician and touring. But you begin to learn a bit about crowd dynamics and, what makes for a pregnant moment, to land a joke, or if you're a DJ, make the beat drop, what have you. but there are things that you can assume groups of people are good at and not good at. In general, what are humans as a whole, as a giant collective, good at? Not knowing the facts, which is why robots trained on all of humanity tend to get a lot of specific facts wrong. Everybody wants to crap all over AI. First thing they say is, oh, but I asked it my birthday and it was off by a day. I asked it the square root of something and it was off by a digit. Guess what? Humans be like that, right? So LLMs, bad at knowing facts, factual things. Also, for my money, they're also bad at inspired creativity and original art because it's trained on everything that came before. Now it can mash stuff up in exciting different ways, and it can execute the mechanics of things in interesting ways. But the job of the writer isn't to write, it's to be the first reader. And ultimately, you're going to want a human to curate because, and we'll talk more about this, nobody is happier at the end of an artistic interaction when they find out that they've been alone in the room the whole time, alone at a holodeck instead of on the phone with the potential love of their life, et cetera, right? Now, one thing that LLMs are extraordinarily good at is knowing how humans whose name are not Brian Brushwood will think and act. It can embody the avatar of a casual person just running along, clicking through, who doesn't care two figs leaves about me or Ryer or Brant or Annalisa or Nathan or this property or the entirety of Monorogue, et cetera. They don't care at all. They just want something interesting. So I can rely on ChatGPT to embody that. So I'll put here, I have and I'm careful. In general, ChatGPT is a bit like a therapist in that it kind of just spits back at you what you say. But so I pay attention to facts. First is I want to set the scene. I have a YouTube video in which Brian and Ryer craft a medieval blowtorch. A tube with a nozzle that creates a very thin blade of fire. And by the way, half of the benefit of this is, like just doing this kind of out loud to myself is useful because I'm hearing words that I do and don't like. Very thin blade of fire that they use to melt glass and slice a metal can in half with. Brian, at first, this was surprisingly low tech and shockingly effective. I need 10 clickable YouTube titles for it. So part of the reason that I'm asking a robot, it's not because I actually value the robot's opinion, but it's because I don't want to go into a launch not armed with without backups, or not armed with backups. So every time you launch a YouTube video, part of the reason that YouTube's algorithm is so good, and the reason it's won the game, is that it does such granular, detailed A, B, C, D, E levels of testing that the very premier live audience is also the first focus group. And so in traditional Hollywood, there's so much money on the line that they don't release anything without piling everyone into a room, and then used to be that they would write surveys. Nowadays, they have LiDAR cameras watching every little micro expression, which is they're able to figure out every single dip in interest and so on. But in our case, we're going to launch to our target audience, and you'll notice it's not the entire subscriptions. Subscription doesn't mean anything. Subscription is basically it's a gravestone. It's a marker of that moment that you went from 0 to, okay, I'm in with an individual person. It's not a reflection of how many people you're entitled to reach on the platform. So you want to court everyone, and that's part of the reason. We'll get into the storytelling structure of everything on there, and we'll eventually talk about don't get brodied. You guys will like all this. But the important part is on launch, YouTube only judges you, not against other videos, not against other videos in your domain, not against other types of work. It judges you on one criterion, your own past 10 videos. So as long, that's the reason that you can get this weird, fantastical mirage of being better than average. The Lake Wobegon effect is called. The idea that everybody is above average. How can every video be better than average? And the answer is because it's only comparing each of your videos to what you usually do. So we want to earn more real estate in other people's minds. We want to earn a higher score of reputation, which number one means quality storytelling, and number two, again, we can talk about all that, but at the tactical phase, you can see whether or not people are clicking on your video. Now, it could be that the subject is just not a fit. That does happen. But in general, the clicking that people do at launch is purely a reflection of how well you did on your title and thumbnail. And I know your Mr. Beasts talk about like, I don't even begin until I have a title and thumbnail. To be honest, there is something to that. It is good to hold that as your North Star, even though most of our episodes do not end up being the intended title and thumbnail. We always have those in mind while interesting things are happening. But let's say your story's good and you know it's good. And I know this is good because I watched it. There are some really fun, exciting moments, and spoiler alert, it really does work. We're able to slice this can. So if you know your story's good and it's not getting opened as well, and you know that the subject should be of wide appeal, then you only have your title and thumbnail to blame. Now, if we had more time, we could do if this was a more crucial, like let's say a high dollar sponsored video, then we would put more of our bandwidth, our artistic bandwidth. But we know we have a solid thumbnail, so it's on me to pick a title. So the way I think of this moment is it's election night. The polls close and the returns start coming in. And very quickly you realize, oh crap, I didn't win this election. Imagine if you could go back in time and give a better final speech. Or likewise, imagine you're in a comedy club and you finish your joke, and as the sound waves reach the first few rows, nobody's laughing. And you're like, oh man, I wish I could go back in time and land that punchline better. Guess what? That's literally what happens with the YouTube rollout. When a video is slow to roll out, that means that its focus group is not clicking on it at the rate that it would click on your other stuff. It could be the time of day. We're posting late on a Saturday, which used to be suicide. But now, looking at the heat map, Saturdays and Sundays are pretty good times for us. So now a longer video like this that people are going to want to spend time with could be a good thing. So in this case, I want to launch with my favorite title, but I want some backups, because if it's not working, ultimately, like, I'm not going to be so precious about my title. I think of the title and the title and thumbnail as the envelope. Like, we've written a very good letter. It's a check for $1 million. Wouldn't it be a shame if nobody opened that envelope, right? So I want backup. So in this case, let's take a look and see what the robot came up with. We built a medieval blowtorch, and it slices metal. Okay. Ancient flame cutter melts glass. Now, here's the thing. I can rate these on what I would like, but ultimately, if it was the Brian channel, it would be nothing but this shot. And maybe that will be the thumbnail at some point. But in this case, look at this trick. Rate each of these 1 to 10 for clickability. In this case, I'm using ChatGPT 4.0. I actually don't like 4.5 for this task because I don't want a lot of thought to go into it. I want it to be kind of gut reaction level. We built a medieval blowtorch and it slices metal. That's good. And also, I think at this point, it knows that on Modern Rogue, I'm not opposed to all caps here and again. This ancient flame cutter, I've already lost interest. See, and this is also, I enjoy noticing that it agrees with me. This one's cliche, and this is exactly, look at that. It's got it right. Homemade fire blade slices metal clean in half. It's not exactly true. It's kind of sloppy. But fire blade, that's right, is pretty good. Slices and clean in half. Wait, I just said those things. That's awesome. Recreated a medieval blowtorch. Insane fire blade. I don't know if it's insane. Nah. So this is great. I actually agree with almost all of these. Yep. I agree. So number 6, number 1, and number 4. I probably going to launch with number 4. So it liked, what was it? 6, 1, and 4. So 6 was insane fire blade. Homemade fire blade slices metal clean in half. And this one. So a version of this, I may or may not do the all caps on there, but there we go. And I'll say more like the top 3. Do your best work and impress me. So that's kind of a weird thing to tell a robot, impress me. Why would you say that? It can't care about you and it can't impress you. But what it can do is in the word cloud that is all of humanity. Hey, Jeff Mazar, it can pick out the type of responses that come from somebody who has been put in a position to bring out their best. Well, if that were true, I might go for that. However you want, you don't want to erode credibility. 700-year-old blowtorch, and it melts glass instantly. Ooh, specific numbers are better. So let me do this. Let me do Notepad. I like that one. And yeah. And remember, our goal is to just have backups. Fire laser. That's kind of fun. No. Nope. So here's another thing. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's play this game. One last thing. Remember, customer's king. So instantly is a bit overstated. Let's go back to our original question of pretend we're a fan of Modern Rogue. Let's take a look at the competition. The first blowtorch, bringing back. That's a way I didn't think of. That's good. Because it says here, bringing back reminds us that there's different types of glamour. There's the glamour of the scale of monstrous amounts of time. So words like ancient and mystery and revive and stuff. An ancient lightsaber. Oh, that's fun. I'm going to make a note of that one, Josh. A medieval lightsaber? So in that case, something like medieval lightsaber would stretch credibility, but you can actually, there's something called anchoring. If you read Daniel Kahneman's book, Thinking Fast and Slow, there's a fantastic experiment where the question ostensibly that people were answering was how many countries in Africa are a member of the United Nations. That's something that most Americans at the mall wouldn't know. But they added in 2 test conditions, they would just spin a wheel of fortune. And so even though the number's 1 to 100, they're like, hey, we're about to ask you a question that can't possibly have anything to do with this wheel of fortune. Let's spin it. And they're all like, okay, wheel of fortune ended up on 97. 97, that seems like a high number between 1 and 100. Anyway, unrelatedly, how many countries in Africa are members of the United Nations? And similar thing, 4. That's a low number. Unrelatedly, and then they would ask, that anchoring, something about it, it's too powerful. Your brain has already taken a lap visualizing it, and there's kind of no backsies on that. So if we say something exciting like medieval lightsaber, it's important that we deliver on whatever was we say. So medieval lightsaber, you could couch it like, if you squint, it's a medieval lightsaber, right? And so then that's a little more authentic to our character. Or let's say somebody said it during it. I would put it in quotes. Haha, it's a medieval lightsaber. It's lightsabler. Oh, I'm feeling so sabled. It's a medieval lightsaber. But in this case, the only thing I don't love is the "we built a blank" thing, because that's fairly formulaic for YouTube, but I no longer know if that's just a bias because I'm an old head. So if I was writing this more in our style guide, in general, we try to err on the side of being more understated. Well, he says, this is kind of the constant push-pull on the creative versus the marketing side of things. Making a medieval blowtorch that slices metal and melts glass. You could also add the word homemade. So, in fact, I would take out making, because clearly it's going to be making. I might say something closer to a home how to. You could also do how to. How to make a homemade. That's the same thing twice. Medieval. So let's go back to seeing what our competition is. DIY medieval torch. See, there it is. Look at that. DIY medieval torch. You could also do... Now, in this case, I wouldn't want to do it because it's been... Well, I don't know. I didn't pay attention. We made a medieval... Yeah, maybe I'll go back to making. At some point, it all starts to just sound the same. Whoops. So this is great. So I'm paying attention to how popular the topic is, how many views there are. This looks like the Fraser Builds channel. And, I'll make a mental note that the answer is always, we have no competition. The answer is we just have friends that we need to meet and get to do collabs with. Okay. So you could also do melting metal. Well, though the star of the show is the melting. To me, it's the novelty of homemade. I'll tell you what, you guys in the chat, hit me with what you think we should go with, and then we'll take one of them. Jinx says anchoring comes from NLP. Yeah, they definitely use that word a lot. NLP's an interesting thing in that it's a fine framework. They crawl a little bit too far up their own butts for my taste in terms of being certain that this is authentic and true, despite the fact that we've never done double-blind peer-reviewed scientific studies on any of it. But no favorites? Yeah, I'm not above. I'm friendlier with emojis in the shorts. Shorts, you can be more fun because, and actually, we'll talk more about shorts later. Shorts are really, really fun because when you launch, your title and your thumbnail matter for selecting and browse features, but then that gets flipped on its head and it becomes part of the story once it jumps into the shorts feed because they're getting the channel flipping experience. And for them, first they're seeing something and you're actually in that 3 to 7 second dip, their eyes are going to jump down and they're like, what am I looking at? And then that's where you get to put a second punchline on there. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do building a medieval blowtorch that slices metal and melts glass. Instead of making, I guess I don't like the word making very much. All right, so medieval blowtorch that slices metal and melts glass. We could do how to or making. We'll just do a medieval blowtorch that slices metal and melts glass. And in this case, it plays into the fact that, if you don't know who Ryer is, you're like, all right, this guy's got a secret. What is it? And this part is kind of a question mark. So it's like, what is that? Well, here's your answer. It is a medieval blowtorch that slices metal and melts glass. So, save that. And now we're rendered up to 4K. Look at that. All right, you guys ready? We're going to watch this. But I need you guys to open it and join me in the premiere. Is it kosher to do a live stream? Yeah. Should I? Hey, Brendan. I don't know what the rules are. You know what? Actually, here, I'll just leave it on this so you guys can hear it, but you probably want to see it. So, visibility, public. We're going to set it as an instant premiere. And now also think customer journey here. You're sitting here going about your Saturday afternoon. It's 7 o'clock, and all of a sudden you get a bing, and you look down, and it says, a medieval blowtorch that slices metal and melts glass. Well, I'm pretty sure I know what I'm in for. What say, let's go. All right. And so now I get to put on my hosting hat. I get to have a good time. Because remember, this is also part of the stage show days. The product is not the product. The show never ends. The show begins really before you even set foot on the stage, and it keeps going long after the show's over. Think about Penn and Teller, who finished the stage show and then meet everybody after the show for longer than the show took. This one's a fun one. Sorry for the 9/11. There we go. And we're going to pin that message. Oh, dang. Oh, dang. Oh, Brendan, I'm glad you enjoyed that gift. That's another thing. Everything you do is either a gift or a harvest. We'll talk more about that, too. Hey, Indexter. That's a good thing. All right, here we go. Let's play this game. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 100. Whoever guesses gets their name in the title for a bit. Let me think of a number. Got it. Boom. Boom. So here's the thing. Is this a trick, a hack, or is it a fun game? The answer is yes. It's a wonderful thing if you get a bunch of people and you make a fun fake game of excitedly cheering, like at a banquet or something. At some point, you're not faking how fun you are, and your crazy hack to be the most interesting table in the room suddenly becomes true. And that's what I want to do over here. Let's see. So, nope. Nope. Somewhere close, though. Let's see. Still not there. Oh, Indexter said it already started. Let's see. Close.
This is never going to get hot enough to melt the solder again.
So this here is
properly. Yeah, it'll never get hot enough. So
the solder's melting.
See that jet? We're also melting.
Oh, there we go. We probably want it.
We're melting the solder.
What, 19th century or whatever? But thinking about it, there's nothing about fire and oxygen that's particular to that year.
Right. The sort of modern interpretation of a blowtorch with a compressed fuel and a nozzle that mixes the fuel and the oxygen and all that good stuff to give you that super hot point is fairly modern. But in the Renaissance era, there was a thing called the blow lamp that used the same basic idea to do glasswork.
I've seen a bunch of like stunt blowtorches. Somebody took a tank of oxygen and a nozzle and just wrapped a tube of bacon around it, because all you need is something that can catch fire and then pure oxygen.
Oh no. Let's see. Oh, wait, where's the name? It was Jeanette, right? Oh, no. Yeah, Jeanette. 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 Wait. Jeanette. Go to channel. At Jeanette P. There we go. Boom.
Tubes and beakers and...
There we go. And then we're going to make good, because that's another thing we do is we keep our promise. Presents. Save. So this is fun because it...
fuel source, that creates a Venturi effect.
There we go. Awesome.
With which it's capillarying its way.
Capillarying. That's a real thing. Come on.
fuel source. That creates a Venturi larger wick in it. By making
There
a
we go.
container, I could make a lamp, or I could save time and
Okay.
just swap it
So
out.
it doesn't need to be a sterno can, and it shouldn't be sterno fuel. You said it's paraffin, right?
It was paraffin, yeah. I swapped it out with denatured alcohol just because it gives us a bit more of a more robust flame.
Yeah, denatured alcohol is going to be much more volatile, and it'll be faster to burn. as well.
Exactly. Because it's also a more robust flame, it also makes it harder to blow it out when we're trying to introduce air through a nozzle.
Which can be a benefit and a detriment.
Yes, it can. That's why we have the lid for snuffing, just in case.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, safety, we should have
Right
fire
there.
begun. Okay, great.
Okay, that's the main element. Originally, this would have been done with a lamp of some kind, if you can imagine, like a genie lamp or something like that.
If I'm intuiting where this is
So
headed,
at this
the
point during the
magic of
launch,
it
I'm paying
is
attention to the
not
fact
all
that
in the fuel. We just need enough fuel
how many
at the
people
ready at all
are
times. The magic
watching,
is
whether or not
in
that number is
something
going
about
up,
the airflow.
and people watch for
Yeah. We wanna get the
different
nozzle just
reasons.
right. We have to get the right diameter.
Okay, wait,
You get a lot
nozzle
more
of what?
channel
What are
flipping
we working with?
tourists.
Right, so well, we need to do the blow part of the blow line.
tourists that
But
you
with
hope
some
to
brass tube, we need to put a
get
nozzle.
interested.
Okay, so using just pliers?
Well, we want to be a little more precise, so I'm going to use a form.
Okay.
I have a bit of this wire, right? And this wire is about 1/2 millimeter in diameter, which is pretty darn close to what we want.
Okay.
So first we want to anneal the brass.
Anneal.
Anneal.
Yeah, so we're doing this with
We're
just-
getting it to where it's nice and red and
Yep.
Oh, got it. You know, brings me back to 9/11. It's not the steel melted; it's that it got soft enough to be manipulated, and that's
Exactly.
what we're doing.
Yep, it's just like that.
I was told to never forget.
So we want to get that to a kind of a cherry hot temperature. We're doing this
Whoops.
with a lighter, but this would have been done with the bellows.
Yeah, and it's remarkable how all the heat stays right there at the
Just
end.
incredible.
Your fingertips aren't burning,
Well,
right?
we're
No.
premiering one, and I'm
that's gonna be
here
very useful to us as
live
well, because we are
watching
gonna
the
be holding on to
premiere,
this while we make the
talking to
blowtorch.
you guys as
All
it
right, so that's gonna
premieres.
be hot enough. Now we have to make a nozzle. Sit that into the end, so that way when we hammer it, this is not annealed, this is piano wire. It's nice and hard.
Got it. So we want to just close this gap so that this is the only exit for the air. So it's a very, very thin, very precise, kind of like honing something down to a blade's edge.
Exactly.
Got
so there's a hammer over there. There's also an anvil on your vise.
So it's not too late. We don't need to heat it again.
No, now that we've gotten it to that temperature.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So that's another storytelling thing that
right,
we've
now,
always done on the
take a
Mono
break real
Rogue
quick.
is
And if you look
maintain
real
the
close,
credible
you can
threat
kinda
of
see the
everything not working.
profile.
yeah.
And so I should be able to just, if you hold on to it.
Like our number
Pull
one
that right
video
out.
that put us on the map
so we want it
was
just that
19
tight,
minutes
right?
of
Just that tight. So
making
if we take a look
pruno
at the end
and
there.
0 minutes of consuming
God, it's hard to
pruno.
believe that that'll even go. It barely, is going out.
Well, that's what we want. We don't want too much air. We want it to be a nice focused jet.
Yeah, I could feel it. I wonder if we could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's
Okay,
also
so-
Ooh,
whenever
I'm lightheaded
possible.
now.
Yeah, so
Again, I'm a big fan of authenticity, so it's like the cardinal sin of all magicians
yeah,
is that
because
they
the
say
rate
what
of
they're
it
going to
going
do
out
and
is
then they
so
do
slow,
it.
and
So if they
circular
say
breathing
this
is
is
just
a normal
you
deck of cards, you
inhale,
better
you
believe
go
that
with
it's
the lungs,
not.
You puff out your cheeks. You
So in that
close
case, I
and
could
inhale
tell
through your nose, but
everyone,
your
yeah, I'm
cheeks are
blowing it.
still
It feels like this
bouncing
or whatever,
their
but instead I want
way
to
out.
show
So,
whenever
guess
I
like,
can. Hello, Cam Chen.
Okay, yeah.
Just like Louis Armstrong.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so hopefully we got a good enough seal so that way all the air is going through our little jet.
And I guess we're going to see it once it participates with the flame. If we have something, and then we just hammer that shut if there's a problem.
If there's a problem. We also have a little bit of a modern day fix. 3D printer nozzles are brass. They're just the right diameter, so we can solder one in if we need to and do it that way.
Got it. Okay. So,
So this was a good way for us to have our cake and eat it too. We were able to show the medieval way, then verify that it worked, and then also get a superior, more effective one so we get for the purposes of our demonstration.
Okay, so take a break. So you can hear that rush noise?
Yeah.
That is the air kind of blowing around our flame. It's not being very productive.
Right.
So we want to get just the right amount of pressure, and you're going to have to do it by feel, and just get the position just right, so that way you're getting a fine blue jet that comes out the other end.
Oh, got it. So it's a knack thing.
Yep.
Okay, so start off mild and then ramp up from there?
Yep.
Look at that smoke ring.
Boy, what an ADD moment. Again, authenticity. I am here for the authenticity. Brendan, we just got
probably
these new
can't see it, but
cameras.
we're getting a little flame.
Today
Try and
is
get a
the
little
first day that we're
closer, a
trying
little
them
more
out.
towards the base of the flame. There
Well,
you
actually,
go.
this is just the
Too
first
much,
of
too much, too
three.
much.
But yeah, this
There you
guy
go.
is.
Start to shoot up the side.
Let's see if it
That is a
zooms
much
in
hotter,
on me.
Much more
Nope.
powerful flame.
This guy is.
Color is the indicator. Same way with like
There we
you
go.
can tell how
Oop.
hot a star is burning based on the color.
right.
the
exactly.
new
Okay.
tail too. Yeah,
So
sorry. Whoops.
that
Sorry,
was
guys.
the effect we wanted,
Very
right?
close.
Okay.
We could tinker with this nozzle.
Yep,
Over and over and
OBS
over
bot
again,
is
but
the
we've got
tail
pretty
too.
many
Hi,
nozzles.
Aaron.
So at this point, I can now wrap my
This
mind around
this
the
guy
idea
is
that
great.
I don't know, in the
I mean, it's
1600s,
great.
1700s.
Like, look at
somebody
that
was able
depth
to
of
figure
field.
This much out.
1400s,
Right?
1500s.
Oh, so it
Isn't
is
that fun?
medieval. Got it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I've just got a bit of
Take
brass
care,
pipe here, just
Daxter.
like what you have. Thank you. And then there's a little white.
So next
canister
up,
there.
I actually need to set
That's
all of the
flux is a cleaning tool. It's
Stream Deck stuff.
basically acid, and it's gonna give us a
so
little
that
bit
I
of minor
can
prep to our metal.
do all that without having to pull
We're
out
gonna
my
heat
phone.
Both metals up.
And this is what's going to allow them to fuse once they're hot enough.
It's been a really fun adventure over the last
So I'm
3
just gonna
months,
kinda hold that.
rethinking everything
this
from
is
the
just a
ground up
straight-up
and making
3D
this
printer nozzle.
a
This is
living
a
cockpit
standard
where we can spend more
0.4
time
millimeter
together, more of
3D
the
nozzle.
behind the
3D
scenes
printer
stuff.
nozzle, yep. So I'm going to hold my nozzle in place because it doesn't quite fit in the brass.
Oh, I see where this is headed.
The trick with soldering,
The
is you never
idea,
wanna heat the
I
solder,
guess,
but
well,
you want to get the metal
yeah,
hot
wait.
enough that it can melt the solder. So if you could heat up that joint between the threads and that pipe, and don't heat just there, heat over here, so that way we are.
Got
So
it
some of the
both
key
sides.
metrics that
our
YouTube pays
flux, you can
attention
see
to
does look
is
a
how many
little bit
shares
twisted on
it
there.
gets.
Is that all right?
So
I'm not worried about that for the sake of the
there's
demonstration.
different
Okay.
currencies.
Remove the
There's
flame real quick?
views,
yeah.
but viewer minutes is what it cares about. And I know
got hot enough?
most
Oh, you could see it
most
just-
watchers
just
are
sucking
hip
right
to the
into
idea
those
of turning something
threads.
on and letting it run as a way
You
to
wanna get a
support.
nice
But even more valuable is to
seal.
take it, copy it, send it in an email to yourself, and then click on it
I'm using
over
the
there.
solder to
Actually, no,
bond
no, no.
both these two together.
Just
I'm
sharing
also
it,
using it to seal
because
any
you'll
air
notice
gaps,
that
way air is only coming out
It's
of the
not a
tip of the nozzle.
trackable link.
And then once this is made,
When it
we
gets
don't have
over
to
there.
worry about this thing.
And I
heating
really
up
have to
enough,
apologize
because this
for
is
my
air-
voice
It's going to be blowing the air out.
being the
This
way
is
it
never
is.
going to get hot enough to melt the solder again.
As long as we have it positioned properly, yeah, it'll never
Yeah.
get hot enough.
Well, that was really fast. How fascinating.
And you can see again, we've got a very fine jet of air, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you stand over here and I'll stand where I'm standing.
Okay.
So that way you can see from the side.
Yeah.
And we'll see if
Thanks,
I can
Jeff.
get it
I'm glad to
do
hear that.
The thing.
Oh, that's great. So now what's happening is you'll notice that the watching now number is popping up. That's a good indicator that people are clicking in. And this is analogous to when you're doing shows like, let's say, at a community college or something. Most of your
see
audience
that
is going to be
blue jet that I
walking
get
by
from the
when they
outside? Yeah,
encounter
Okay.
you in the middle
So
of the
the thing
show.
that- like I said, this was
And if
used
you're
for
doing a
original
good
was
show,
glasswork,
like for example,
and
if you're
a
in
little
the,
bit
if
of
I'm in the middle
metal
of the fire eating
Stick through
routine,
the trash.
then that'll be when people naturally
Right.
slow, stop, and get
If I were to
engaged.
hold this
So in this
can
case,
over
there's some
this,
number of people who are always
it
going to
would
be
take
clicking
a
in and
while.
It'd
clicking
take a
out.
very long time.
But
My
enough
first
people
test is I wanna
clicked
see if I can
in
get a hole
while
in the
there's
can.
a
Yeah,
flame
yeah. So you
happening.
start the jet
Like
and
you
I'll-
could start
I'll raise
right
this up
now,
into it.
and you're pretty much caught up. Yep. It's what this is a medieval blowtorch that slices metal, and there's the metal, there's the glass. I wonder what's going to
Because we're
happen.
blowing up the heat
So I'm going to
raising
stick
this
around.
too.
I want to
Mhm.
see
My
this.
lips aren't
I want
gonna
to see
get
it get
hot.
hot and melt.
Yeah,
And so
that
you can
we're
see us
heating
go
up.
from
Mhm. So it
94
will get hot
subscriber or
faster.
94
Be aware of
folks
that.
watching to now we're at 153.
There it is.
It's kind of hard to see when you're blowing down the pipe. Am I getting a jet at all? or-
No.
Okay.
This is one of Brant's really great gifts is that he's able to take moments like these and just
There
let
it
them
is.
breathe. Because, of course, Ryer and I
keep
are
going, keep
obsessed in the
going.
moment of wanting to know whether or not it's working. Whereas Brant, you know, he's capturing it, and when he edits, you know, he knows what he's
Looks like
sitting
you're out of
on.
steam.
Okay, here we go. One more time.
Oh, that's great. So that moment
There you go.
there rested for a pretty long time, and it
not
was
able to
interesting
do
the
the
entire
circle
time.
again?
And so you can
I
see
am, but
the watching
my
now
embouchure is weak.
going
I'm starting
up.
to get weak lipped.
Oh, here, I get
And
try.
then
I'll make it
sometime-
sanitary.
There you go.
I'll bring my own reed. Okay.
I'm going to direct the end of the pipe a little bit, just to give you a little.
I think you're too far forward.
It looked great.
Oh, did it?
You get a really good.
It didn't make any noise. I didn't see anything happening.
The noise means you're actually wasting energy.
Really?
It's a pretty
Yeah, that makes
silent
sense with the
operation.
turbulence.
From that vantage point, I couldn't see it working at all.
So I mean, if I'm not mistaken, there was a real fine. I mean, I'm not mistaken because I was looking.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Josh Van Allen. I
Blue jet,
didn't
right,
think of
was coming through the
about
heat
that
right
when I
there.
said
And
it.
there's a little bit of like making the heat stay in the same spot with melting this, whatever. It's very thin, so the heat's going to dissipate fairly quickly.
Yeah.
But this was made for doing glass work. This
Okay.
was made for. So I think we've got some glass rods here. We should try melting one.
Okay, yeah. Is the glass going to give me feedback?
Is there a way to see if a share has more clicks?
And it's going to start to get kind of soft. Your hands,
No.
if you're holding the edges, will stay cool, just
When
like
you
brass.
share
Yeah.
a video,
But it's gonna start to
here,
soften.
first of all, it
Once
pays
it gets red
attention to
hot,
the
you'll be
share
able to
button.
pull it
Oh, you know
apart
what? I
from two
take it back.
sides.
Look, here, you can see that there is a trackable thing in here. There we go. So, yeah, when you click share, this
You
business,
can already see
all of
there's a bit of
this
a cherry
is
glow
an
going on
indicator
there.
of whether or not you actually shared it. So, it's going to know... not that it's doing it in a malicious way, but it's knowing that this person is in level of interest of Monorogue. I think of it as if you ever see a gravity well of like space-time curving down. There are some super fans who are deep in the gravity well. They know all the deep lore and everything,
Yeah,
and
look
other
at that.
people are surface
Getting
level.
really hot.
So an indication of a shared thing that gets seen a lot
Keep going. Don't stop yet.
gives
I'm gonna grab a
it
pair of
the
pliers.
ability, like if you share that trackable share, and then let's say, I don't know, 7
Okay.
other people in your Discord
pull it out of the
server,
flame.
they all click on it,
And we can-
then it just helps YouTube to
That's
make an
amazing.
effective
Pretty slick,
map
right?
of
And
just
this is
how
just
deep
denatured
everyone's
alcohol.
fandom
Just
is.
denatured alcohol
Because
and
it does,
breath.
it
Yeah,
pays
heat it
attention
up. I
to
wanna
literally
get us heat
everything
right
you've
up
ever watched in the entire history of the show, which is why it knows even better than you do. Like, it will see you go on a nostalgia run for something, let's say from 2012, and then it knows all the other things that
lot
you
of
watched from
these
that area, which
would
is
have-
why it randomly
yeah. Doggone
pops
it,
that
we
up on there.
broke.
So it's
lot of
also
the-
it's
the
tracking
original
your
ones,
level of
original designs
fandom,
call for
which
moisture trap.
again is why
Because
it's
the
won the
breath has
game,
condensation
because
in
it's
it.
very
Oh, and
difficult
that's
to
gonna- that's gonna
cheat.
subvert what we're doing.
Like
Takes a lot
with
of energy
Meta,
out,
you could
so
just
it
write a
goes to bed,
check
moisture traps.
to get
Some
to
of
the
them
front of the
have
line,
foot-powered
and with
bellows, that way we weren't,
TikTok,
constantly-
there's only one star of
Oh, yeah,
TikTok,
yeah,
and that's
yeah.
We
TikTok.
could run compressed air through that.
Do we have just balloons or something?
I did read one article about someone who used sheepskin and kind of like a bagpipe on his, so he would
Yeah,
blow
this was a
into it,
fun
and the
moment of
sheepskin would
genuine,
inflate,
just
and
in
that
the
way he
moment
wouldn't have to do circular
invention.
breathing. He could let the balloon do it for him, so the balloon would inflate and then slowly let air out, so he could keep breathing without having to do his cheeks. So there is some precedent for
Like
that.
in an alternate
I don't know if that's gonna
timeline, we
work,
could
we
have
got
just
gloves.
walked past that.
Wait,
Like,
do
that's a
we
cool
have
story, but
latex
instead
gloves?
it's like,
We have
well, let's actually try it.
nitrile?
Yeah. I don't know how stretchy they're going to be.
Yeah, let's find out.
This is also we get to kind of deal this way because we know that we get to craft the narrative after we're done shooting. So if it doesn't work out, no harm, no foul. We used to stress about that so much more, but now we've learned to trust the edit.
Oh, no, I got it. I know what we're doing. Watch this. I'm going to twist this a whole bunch.
That was a great moment where kind of the moment I got started,
we're gonna lose much air that way.
Ryer
Is it
just
still hot?
instantly grokked
I'll
where this
plug
was
that.
headed and
right.
just sort of,
Inflate.
we did this do-si-do where instantly without, saying anything, we both knew what to do.
There you go.
Are
It's
you ready?
going. Yeah. There you go. You got it? I'll keep this going. Oh yeah! Look at that. We're like old time. I'm an apprentice to a glassmith.
Yeah, I feel like Faraday doing his chemistry.
Also like Howie Mandel in the 80s.
I don't know if anyone caught that reference.
Or that
I don't know if
chicken from
anybody
Wallace and
remembers that bit that
Yes,
Howie
Feathers
Mandel did.
McGraw.
Howie Mandel, by the way, not a fan of my act. Told me in front of an audience.
That's pretty slick, actually. So you can kind of see that jet. And we're also melting.
Oh, there
this-
we go. We probably want it.
We're melting
right?
the solder and the.
Oh yeah. Or do you want to? Oh, got it. Yeah, we of course want this in the flame, and then we want the jet on it. That makes sense.
A lot of glass workers will also have a preheating flame. So just basically
There was a
another wick
brief
burner
moment where this
where
went
the,
so well that for a
glass
second
would
I
warm.
thought we could
So we're not
actually make a little
bending anything
MR
back from the
kind of
See it
a
bending? You
kind of a
see it
neon
bending?
tube
We
thing.
are glassmiths, and then we want to let that cool. Oh, that's our piece of art. It's called a bendy straw. We made a bendy straw. Now we sell it for money because we're artists. Yeah, okay, here.
It's a little bit too on the nose.
I'll rest this here, and you can move the flame in so it's steady.
It's a good idea.
There you go.
Can you squeeze on the glove a little bit? Give it a little pressure?
Yeah, weirdly, the pressure goes down when it's very inflated because there's
that's fun
less
to
strength
watch.
to the material. A balloon blows hardest right before it
Thank
runs
you,
out of
Aaron.
air. Oh, you can see the green.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that
Hans,
green's
no.
actually
Howie
from
Mandel
the,
was a class
the end
act.
of our
I did America's
because
Got
the copper-
Talent,
oh, look at
and
that.
I
Oh,
did
wait.
the fake
There
hand
we go.
stab.
There we go.
They
There
all
we
thought
go.
it was
There you
real,
go. Keep
and
walking.
once two of them hit the buzzer, that's one of those like you can't save face by calling backsies,
holding
and
our
so it was
breath
just
just in
like the
case anyone's
vibe was
worried
just
about-
tilted, and
Like
so he actually was rooting for recovery, but I wasn't interested in doing the traditional narrative in that kind of story beat,
getting
which
very
is
hot.
the
Just,
"aw shucks
yeah?
dipshit,"
You wanna
and
hold it
so
with
I'll
pliers
tell
or
that
something?
story about it some other time. It was
There it
fascinating, though.
is. We let it. Using denatured alcohol just like the ancient ones did.
And 3D printer nozzles,
And
just like
3D printed nozzles they found in the wild.
and sterno cans from sterno can trees, and
This is the most modern road crap ever. Oh, no. All right. Dude, I'm calling that an unmitigated success. Well done, Ryer.
This video is supported in part
Yeah.
by
Hey
viewers
guys,
like you
let's get
at
serious about Patreon.
patreon.com/modernroad,
Patreon.com/modernroad.
where we just recently made the nearly
We're 3 months
40-minute interview
in.
with
I hope you
Grant
guys can
Davis
tell.
and John Rubio
I'm
of
very
The Beers,
serious about
available to
tripling
$5
down on
patrons.
just one thing.
It's quite
I've
old at
spent
this point, but
most
it
of
is a
my
spicy
career
interview.
creating independent brand verticals. Hold on, this song's awesome. The fire knife, it's full of strife, and it's gonna play to win. I need. Do me a favor, guys. Be some of these fabulous patrons. I would love it. Just get in at the cheapest whatever. I just want Brant to be suddenly surprised that he has to add an awful lot of names.
Oh yeah, we need to wrap the bridge in there.
I am not going to talk about some of the stuff that I want to do for patrons, but this year I'm not saying I'm gonna. I don't like the word I'm gonna. Words talk is cheap, and long timers know that you lose someone to addiction. You learn that talk is cheap. So I ain't gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell you what I've been doing for the last 3 months is a tripling, quadrupling down on my commitment to the Modern Rogue, and hopefully you guys are here for it. And so head on over to patreon.com/Modern Rogue. Thank you very much to Charizard Colby. Oh no, I know what happens at this part. This is the part where I say, I just want to do the boring thing of setting up buttons. And then I say, I don't want to waste everyone's time. And then you guys say slow TV, slow TV. Well, let's do. All right. Let's see. Okay. I don't know how to show you guys on this, though. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So... yeah, Lord Frederick, Lo-Fi Beats seems to be pretty good as far as it's mostly fair game for YouTube audio content. I have to go and every so often I have to go back and track. Well, here, I'll do it right now. Oh, I guess I should. I forgot. I did this whole giant talk about freaking about the dailies, about watching the results come in, and then I'm not doing it. So let's see. First of all, comments. You want to be friendly? That's porn. Let's go ahead and let's just remove that. I used to think it was hilarious, and I'd say things like, "Oh, bot, you're hilarious." But then people pointed out that by engaging with it even jokingly in a performative way, I was legitimizing the account so that it could be used for spammy things elsewhere. Jeff Mazer asks, Lo-Fi Girl is loyalty free. I think that's funny. It's not royalty free, but it's mostly YouTube safe. So what you see, if we go to content here, we could go to live, and then every so often I take a little tour. Here we go. So this one says ineligible. So I don't know that anybody's getting rich on this stuff, but in this case, there we go. We're down to just one. So, hey, why don't you erase that song? And then I'll have to check in on it like tomorrow. Yep, that's correct. That thing you're doing, that's what you have to do. So now we'll go to analytics. Check out the live count. There you go. So you can see this is videos not happening and then videos happening. What I like to do is I like to take a look at, it's fun. You could actually watch the algorithm turn things on and turn things off. You could see where it's A/B testing things. And oftentimes when something launches and it launches softer than I'd like, in the case of a short, then what I'll do is I'll go and I'll sort by the last 60 minutes. And in this case, you can see that the existence of this new video in no way affects this short that's currently blowing up. And the reason for that is because this is indicating to you that this is a algorithmically pushed one. This is, as I think of it, audition content. This is, you ain't never heard of a Mono Rogue, but you probably have heard of this doodad that is far too advertised, and you probably don't mind watching a takedown video about it. So these are all potential Mono Rogue fans in the making. And so hopefully they are discovering this stuff and watching it, and you can kind of see, whoa, look at this. Is that what's happening right now? That's big for us. How cool. Well, that's neat. That's the first time that live has really popped like this. I'm fond of explaining to people that YouTube is not in the business of giving directions. It can only set up incentives. And the secret to having a successful YouTube channel is if there's a tab, if there's a tab for it, you should do it. So in this case, the last 60 minutes, I like to picture a place, a physical place, because I know what 3,000 people look like, right? 3,000 people in the last hour. So I can picture a large performing arts auditorium, and we saw from the live count that we had about 150 people. I know what that looks like at any one time. So 900 people came in, and maybe we'll watch the whole thing or later. And I know that we've been keeping to around 80 people here live right here in this moment. And that's I know what that looks like. A crowd of 80 is a good crowd. And that's one thing I recommend to anyone really is get real life experience about what 80 people look like. Because I know that the magic number for a magic show was around 45 people. Below 45 people, it's very awkward and difficult to get people to volunteer for a trick. Above 45, everybody wants to volunteer, especially if it's in a snug, tight, small, packed venue. So that helps to shape the way you talk and think and react to people. Let's see. So this was an interesting one. Earlier today, this hat one got heavily auditioned. It got algorithmically pushed and then it dropped, which was fine by me because it, oh, interesting. So take a look at this. This was a fairly low stakes short. It's literally just us trying to think of how many hats we could think of, right? But you can see where that would pop for people who click through to watch the hat video. And then unfortunately, this one, the bar trick, kind of landed with a thud, partly because most of our hardcores are ready for something that is not old content. And I'm aware of that, but also a lot of some of the old bar bet stuff just skyrockets, which was, so we definitely, as I think of it, you know, when you're the Beatles, you occasionally have to play the hits. Let's see. This one I'm thrilled did so well, partly because this video is so much better now that I removed, I forget whatever the BetterHelp was ad or whatever. It feels less like a podcast and feels more like an authentic YouTube video essay. But at any rate, so you get to peek in and see what's going on in other places. But meanwhile, we want to check out the current analytics. Whoops. That was on my channel. So we'll go to dashboard. Hey, look at that. It's a #1 hit. So usually that means I will not mess with it. If it is out of the gates ahead, then I assume whatever it is, it worked. I ain't gonna touch it. Now, in this case, I'm aware that we goosed it a little bit by having a watch party and by going meta. And I don't know that that trick will work every time, but if it does, then I'll keep doing it. If you guys dig watching how the sausage gets made, and I think a lot of you guys do, I mean, when you're in the business of selling authenticity, what could be more authentic than authentically talking about it while you do it? Yeah. So in this case, we have the views, but also more importantly, we have the watch time. Interesting. So this is gonna be lower because because this was all us watching live, and this is really when people started watching it in the beginning. So the watch time can't be long enough because people are still actively watching it. And so we don't yet know whether or not people watch all the way to the end. But in the meantime, we can keep an eye over here. This is fine. It's fine. That's another thing that I like about YouTube is that YouTube does not serve anyone except for the consumer. I mean, it truly is. And actually, it's weirdly both an agent on behalf of the creator and the consumer. It mainly favors the consumer because it'll prioritize the consumer's interests over the creators. But let's say you do something that's wildly off topic, right? Something that is not congruent with your fan base. Then weirdly, the algorithm will only show it to the segment of your audience that's here for that. You guys will notice that when we do Great Night, I increasingly am taking some of those shorts and dropping them in, and you can click through to an unlisted video. That's when you're raising a kid, they say it's not your obligation to make the kid eat vegetables. It's only your obligation to put the vegetables in front of the kid, and then it's up to the kid to decide if they want it or not. So candy, you know, something that explodes, name a bunch of hats, this kind of inoffensive stuff, that's fine, entry-level stuff. But if that's what is generally pleasant that gets on the radar, then, you know, part of the complexity of being a human being is that there are times where you talk about, poop jokes and embarrassing stories with your friend Justin, and there's times where you go all cerebro brain on a gigantic live stream talking about branding and neuropsychology. All of that is, I think, an important part of creating the maximum opportunity to link with the ultra fans that you belong with. So let's see. Jeff Mazar says, does it mean you play the algorithm game from the start for MR? No, as a matter of fact, to be very clear, Monarogue, the reason, this is weird to say, you guys know that mainly I was obsessed with landing the plane for the eclipse. And once we got through that, I had white-knuckled, through the pandemic, through everything, to the detriment of my health. I was 35 pounds overweight, and I just cratered, super unhealthy. And in August, I'm like, okay, what do I got? Pretend I just got here, right? Got a fixer-upper of a body, got a couple of YouTube channels, got this, that, and the other. So everything I started doing was in service of, first of all, having absolute clarity in terms, number one, get the equipment back in shape, which is why today I got up at 4:55 a.m., ran 4.5 miles. Thank you very much. Number two, get the story absolutely crystal clear. And I knew that the production cycle for high quality polished materials out at the bar, number one, people had seen Brian at a bar teaching magic tricks a lot. And so it was time for something different. There's an entire generation of magicians who were raised learning their tricks from Brian. So the parallel that I think of is if you guys ever saw Don Herbert, I grew up with him in his Nickelodeon days watching Mr. Wizard's World. I didn't know that that was his second lap, and he was doing literally all the same tricks that he did 20 years prior. So, looking at everything as they are, not as I want them to be, but as they are, I realized, oh wait, I can now start revisiting all those tricks. And to the generation who grew up with Brian always having been the approachable, friendly quizmaster, entry-level magician trick teacher, we could do that, but faster with a tighter production pipeline, which is why, but in order to do that, this is why when it comes to goal setting and stuff, they say begin with the ending in mind. You have to project into the future and then say, okay, well then what else is congruent with that? And eventually it got all the way down to, well, I need to know where the files are. And so, started working on backups. And then it's like, I need to know how to post things on the channel, which is why for, 50 days straight, I got up every single morning and I would remaster a Monarogue episode up to 4K because none of those had been on the Scam Nation channel. So they were, and there were some people who were certain that they had seen them before, but they were on this channel instead. Didn't matter. The secret thing, like objectively, it's like, you want to watch them, great. Don't want to watch them, great. Whatever. I'm taking out the ads. You're welcome. And most importantly, I learned how to do upscaling, how the back end of YouTube looks. I began to, I would force myself to watch the raw feed, which now we're at the part where I get to share a bunch of the insights that I got from it. But back in the fall, I had to do all that. But I knew that once I got that done, then I needed to learn how to cut. And so I tried DaVinci. My skills at Premiere had atrophied to the point that I literally couldn't use them. So I ended up using CapCut. It was fast, entry level. Then I think you guys saw when I did, 32 days straight of every single day as I was out for a run, getting up at 4:35 in the morning. I would talk to ChatGPT and I would try to find an interesting thing. One of my favorite shorts was that Why Isn't Time Metric one. And every single day for 30 plus days, I would write, refine, shoot, edit, produce, host, watch the raw feed every single day, which, yes, that was great. It was good working out. It was good to get that muscle memory so that things could go faster and faster. It was good intel and data gathering. So at that point, as I tend to think of things in terms of story, attention, and sales. By the way, during all of this, when I think of this as the audit. When I began the audit, I realized, okay, all of this needs attention top to bottom. And so I've been operating at a loss, which is why this honesty brought to you by patreon.com/modernrogue. If you dig all of this, buckle up, because you're going to get a whole lot more when you go to patreon.com/modernrogue. What say we really freak out Brant when he suddenly sees twice the number of patrons over at patreon.com/modernrogue for all the insidiest of sauce. But at any rate, I knew that where I wanted to be was a short, tight production pipeline. So by the time we get to the beginning of January, and on top of that, we had to do our best to get through the extremely busy holiday season, because you don't get to decide when it's harvest time. There's a time that when you're in the business to make clever gifts and come up with awesome, Christmas adventures. It becomes very important to keep promises. And when you get emails that indicate that something may or may not arrive on time, you get real creative figuring out how you can make absolutely certain that that one special day is totally special for whoever's trusting you. At any rate, made it through that. And then all of that, though, that was all, I knew none of that would be fun for you guys to watch. When you tune into a Let's Play, you're not thrilled to see somebody bad at the game. And you have to be bad before you can become good. So in terms of the mechanics and the storytelling and the editing, watching me be bad wouldn't be fun for anyone. It wasn't until, so consider that whole, 5-6 months, the introverted section. Then we finally got to hit the extroverted stuff. New year, new us. In January, I felt good about just turning on the cameras. And again, words are cheap. Action. So what did I make sure to do? I made sure a specific promise. I'm moving stage flats in. What do? We moved stage flats in. What do we see? We saw actual energy, real things happen. And now you notice I didn't say, hey guys, I'm going to build a cool cockpit where we're going to be able to talk with each other, and I'm going to be able to download so many interesting stories from my brain. I'm gonna. No. Action. I told one simple story. Stage flats were there, now here. Plaque was leaned, now on wall. Television was on wall, was torn down. Whoops. That TV died. And so now, now we're at the part where we're finally able to do most of the stuff that I wanted to do. We'll get these guys going. We got the Founders Day event where hopefully the OBS bot Tail 2s will be able to kind of bring some of you guys into a virtual experience here. Maybe that'll be a patron-only benefit. Patreon.com/modernrogue. Yeah, Daxter, I actually had the thought about playing Hearthstone earlier today, but I didn't know if that would be too far off brand just yet. As a matter of fact, literally today I thought about just playing, but then I thought, no, the game I'm playing is the game of YouTube. And you know what? Pretty good at the game of YouTube. I'm pretty mid at I'm a mid Hearthstone legend, but I'm a pretty good YouTuber. Oh, which brings me back to the original question that sparked all of these parentheticals, which was, did we set out to play the YouTube algorithm game when we launched Modern Rogue? No. Very, very much no. The Modern Rogue was on the Scam School channel, and I was perfectly happy with it being there. And we'll dive into the metrics on this because I think you guys will find it interesting. But at its peak, in terms of just by the numbers weekly habits, we had 4 posts per week. It was Mondays was Scam School Remix. Wednesdays was new episode of Scam School. Thursdays was a new Modern Rogue episode. And then Friday, we do Friday giveaways or Behind the Scam. That was peak on that channel. And I'll be interested to see when, not if, when we get back to past that. And that was almost playing the algorithm game correctly. The one thing that I would not advise myself to do is, in general, each channel should kind of be a consistent flavor. The example I give is, if you go to a Coke machine and you press the Coke button, you probably want a Coke to come out, not a Diet A&W, right? Whereas, so Modern Rogue was kind of off topic, and it's funny because as nostalgic as everyone is for like the cocktail videos and so on, boy, were they unpopular at first when they first came in, because it was, what? No blowing things up? No, where's the trick? Where's the magic trick? Doesn't matter. But the reason we were putting those there is because Hacking the System had run its course, and that show belongs to the production company. But the tricks, I had all the rights to. So it's like, well, let's make a spiritual successor to it. And it was around the time that Hacking the System made it on Netflix, and it was briefly in the top 10 most watched on Netflix, that I was like, okay, this has a life outside of primetime cable television. This content's good. We should do a spiritual successor to it. And originally we were going to pitch it as a TV show, but then it was like, well, what's the one thing everyone's going to want is they want to know, how is this different than the TV show? So it's like, well, let's actually do the dangerous stuff that we weren't allowed to do on the TV show because of standards and practices. There's some good stories. We'll talk about that. And then number 2, let's show and flex our production capabilities, because at that point, in-house, I'd been producing, the company, I don't know. I always say we had been producing all of Scam School and Behind the Scam and Scam School Remix. So we also did Modern Rogue on there, not knowing what it would turn into, but we shot everything to the same exacting standards as television, because for all we knew, this content would end up being B-roll or segments in the television show. Originally, then there came there was a sticky moment where, so you have an independent intellectual property, and the ads, this is all inside baseball. Things get complicated with sponsors and money when there are 2 distinct intellectual properties on the same YouTube channel, right? So, as much as it pained me as Modern Rogue was growing and growing, like, I did not want to separate. I wanted one channel. Let's just make this thing blow up. But 2 legally distinct, independent intellectual properties meant that, all things being equal, Modern Rogue had to go be on its own channel. And guys, it was heartbreaking. I mean, to like clockwork, go from 250,000 to 500,000 views per episode down to 16,000. Just, and everything out there, all the content, and then just little heartbeat, 16,000, 16,000, 16,000, 16,000. Brutal. And then the Pruno episode came out. Now here's the thing. The Pruno episode, that ain't exactly Shakespearean high art. It's made of gross pruno and then didn't drink it. But something about the YouTube algorithm is it's slow to grant success, but it's also slow to take it away. And in the case of Pruno, that was after a steady drumbeat of so many episodes of the same flavor. And when YouTube sees a certain cohort, a demographic, certain age, gender, interests, or whatever, behave reliably the same way, then it'll algorithmically see, okay, if this, how does it go over there, and test. And you can see the spike. And trust me, we'll have lots of time to pour over all of these numbers, and I'll tell you all the adventures of what's going down. But yeah, maybe you'll see it. You'll definitely see it if you're a patron. Patreon.com/ModernRogue. But at that point, it popped. And then we're off to the races with that adventure. And then meanwhile, we'll talk more about these stories. Let's see what else you guys got. Jeff Mazer says, started with Scam School around 2011, 2012, like Modern Rogue more. Yeah, that's the benefit. Boy, I'm so proud of cracking the archetypes. That turn of phrase, Modern Rogue, I was well pleased with. I cracked that in 2012 when we launched Scam Stuff. But then when I thought about it in terms of, originally I thought of tarot cards, and I just pictured the warrior, the gentleman, and at first it was the thief. But then it was actually one of my friends from a video game company who said, oh, no, you say thief, but it's scoundrel, which scoundrel and rogue are kind of close, but it's more fun to say. So that created the core identity. And what's great, a good brand is multi-layered. It is both the problem and the solution. It pretends to be one thing, is secretly something else. That's why the very best brand is Mythbusters. What? There are myths? Oh, but you'll bust them. Or Scam School. What? There are scams? Oh, but you're going to teach me. Likewise, the quest for Modern Rogue that I am living out to this very moment right now talking with you is on a quest to become the ultimate gentleman, warrior, and scoundrel. Equal parts, James Bond, Houdini, and MacGyver, which sounds very, very specific. However, gives me the flexibility to do literally anything as long as it gets me one iota closer to that never quite attainable goal. It becomes Zeno's arrow. For example, when we learned ballet, it's like, why are you learning ballet? Because I could imagine that James Bond would have to go undercover and become, okay, sure. Why are we learning medieval blowtorches? Because maybe Houdini needs to MacGyver something, etc., etc. Let's see. Hacking the System DVD, it does exist, yeah. There's a couple, you know what? There's one episode that, I don't know how a few episodes ended up on a hard drive, but I do know that one is not there, that there's only 11 of the 12 episodes. So I'm just saying, in a totally separate, unrelated sentence, my email address is brian@schwood.com, and I read every email. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. There we go. So, back to the YouTube algorithm. Modern Rogue was originally put together as a television pitch, and it caught fire all on its own. And so now we're at the part, because I had been treating it as a TV show. Meanwhile, you guys know I have all of these different content silos. If you guys like the way I'm talking right now, this is the way I talk on Cord Killers, which is a podcast all about new media, whether it's YouTube, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon. We've been covering that for 15 years, 16 years now. If you like when I'm talking about robots and AI, some of you guys have been here on Fridays. That's when we do the Weird Things podcast with Andrew Main, who is one of the earliest employees at OpenAI, and Justin Robert Young. If you guys like when I'm making jokes and clouded around, that's another podcast. And Independent Silo, that's the comedy podcast I do with Justin Robert Young, where it's gone through a number of names. Originally, it was the BB Live show, just Brian Brushwood Live, and I called it the best worst show on the internet. Like, I made no claims that it was a good show. It's a bad show, but it's the best worst show on the internet. Out of all the worst shows on the internet, we were the best. So BB Live show joined a network, the Twit network, with Leo Laporte, and we made the show NSFW. Bit of a branding problem on that one, in that it would only summon porn when you search for it. We later went independent. We did a show called Night Attack, named after the comedy albums of the same name. Night Attack, we were able to hit #1 in the comedy Billboard charts twice. And one of our albums hit #1 in all of Amazon. And I love this. People are like, oh, we have the #1 album on Amazon. They're like, oh, in what category? And we're like, MP3s in the category of MP3 albums that you can buy on Amazon. There it is. See down there? That's Lady Gaga. See us? That's #1. All of these being very siloed had been very good to me in that I could pivot from, float from project to project to project to project, constantly flipping from, one brain space to another. But now, or about a year ago, again, part of the audit, I realized that it's time for all of it to kind of collapse into, hi, my name is Brian, and I exist in multitudes, as do we all. And so that's what I've been doing for the last 7-8 months, has been figuring out how to build efficient structures to go in. Now we're at a little place I like to call the part where Brian's out of money and reminds you that it's patreon.com/great. Oh, no, not Great Nights. Actually, go to patreon.com/great night, support us there. Also, go to patreon.com/cord killers and support us there. And go to patreon.com/modern rogue and support us there. Because guess what? All of it causes this and more of this to happen. Jeff Mazar says, still waiting on Brian's answer for the AI arts I sent him after prompting the AI generated pictures site I use. I may have missed that. Feel free to bump that. Send it to brian@shwood.com. Okay, so let's try this. Let's get back to work. That's enough of that hootenanny, that silliness. So let's do this. Oh, we're about to do the Hall of Mirrors. Okay, so on this, let me try adding another one. Wait, is 10 the max? No, that can't be the case. Unless it is. Is it really only 10 pages? I don't want that to be true. Yeah, I guess. I guess 10 is the max. Well, crud crap. That would mean... Let's do... First of all, let's back up. Oh, that's right. This terrible, terrible UI. Look at this. If you want to back things up, here's a natural way to do it. Let's see. Go to Profiles. You know, ignore all of these. Go down to this. And then do Backup All. And then you can create a backup. That makes sense. Let me duplicate the Icarus bots, and then we'll rename it. So page 2. Yep. Oh. Page 2. Let's go down. Oh, look at that. We got a new one. Irk. Ah, that's great. It's got a name and everything. Irk. Hey, Irk. Well, now what? Oh, wait. Is it not a webcam? There's no control. No, it should go through OBS bot. No. Wait a minute. This guy is giving an HDMI feed, but I'm controlling it over Wi-Fi. Well, you know what? I bet I just need to plug a USB-C in there. Do we like the tracking on this? We think this is good? All right, roll them dice. Hey, baby. Hold on. Wait.
Don't ask ChatGPT. If you ask ChatGPT, I'll kill you.
Okay, well, I don't want to be murdered, but I did put you on speaker, so the whole internet is listening to the question.
Okay. See, I know somewhere that scientists collided light and created matter.
Well, there.
And then Josie said, "Where did you see that?" And I said, "Maybe on Spacebook." And then she goes, "What did you say?"
Spacebook.
I saw it on Facebook. rhymes with Smashing Pumpkins is just like, okay, we know that's not a credible source. So I'm calling you because you seem to have credible sources at your fingertips. So what did Andrew Bain say about it?
Oh, it did not come up. You know, it's so funny. The Weird Things podcast has been so hijacked because the AI news just keeps going so fast that we don't get to genuinely weird news these days.
You should get back to your roots.
Yeah.
Blame it all on my boots.
Your boots. All right. Well, here I'm setting up buttons.
No?
I am loath to admit that I actually don't know.
What?
Shh, don't tell anyone. Sometimes I don't know things.
Oh my gosh.
You just took me down. I was soaring. Bonnie, you would have, I would say you'd be proud, but you wouldn't be proud. You'd be annoyed. You're like, there he goes again. I was soaring like Icarus, right? Cozy next to the sun in all my authority, talking about my 20 years of YouTube. And then you call me and you're like, did scientists make matter out of light? I'm like, I don't know.
That's true. You don't know. Well, a girl can dream.
A girl can dream. Hey, we have to watch Severance, and also we have to.
Is it actually the finale?
Yes.
Everybody's been talking about it. Is it good? I've been like.
I'll give you a hint. I bet there's hallways, and I bet that there's stupid rituals, and I bet there's more blue and liminal spaces, and I'll bet there's no
crazy.
answers.
Severance has never had hallways, liminal spaces, or blue.
Are you doing some like Scientology voodoo on me?
She's gas-lamping you. Lamping?
Gas
Yeah,
lamping.
What's the difference between gaslighting and gas lamping?
Well, gas lamping is what it was originally called.
Yeah. It's right, of course.
We almost got Penny with that last night. It was really great.
She's
All right.
shaking her little green head at you. All right.
All right, love you, sweeties.
Love you.
Oh wait, are we gonna play Jackbox?
What is it? Is it Severance or Jackbox or what? Same time. Same time. Yeah. Split screen. Split screen.
All
That's
right.
right. Jackbox makes me nervous. It's like war.
I know.
Like I gotta be funny.
It's
if I'm not funny, nobody's gonna love me anymore.
It's true. We are big on conditional love in our family.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you're so talented.
Right, of course.
All right, love you.
Love you.
Boop boop boop. So that's great. So looks like the launch says views are up 8%. So we're at the high end, despite launching at a different time of day. It's good though. But oh, by the way, some people are always so worried about losing subscribers. Knock it off. If you're in the YouTube game, are you here for actual hearts and minds? Or are you here for feel-good fake numbers? Because, spoiler alert, for the crime of showing up, you will lose subscribers. It's cruft. It's digital cruft. At some point, somebody's going to say, oh, I don't want this in my feed. Good. Here's what you don't want on your tombstone. Here lays so-and-so. He never offended a person. He never upset a soul. Yeah, so the moment you launch anything, you're going to lose some subscribers, but when you get a runaway hit, because you keep showing up over time, and in general, you're going to find your audience, then you get to play with, as I think of it, house money, and you get to keep showing up a lot. And yes, you're going to lose some of those spikes, but yeah, we'll talk more about that later. But for now, I want to see whether or not, I guess I could try. Oh, BMO and CMO. Boy, I bet that made no sense to people. Look at this. So it's got this as 2 presences. One over, I assume, the Wi-Fi. The other on the USB-C, question mark? No. See, this guy is a real button. I guess they haven't invented the buttons for this yet on the Stream Deck. Well, that sucks. That wasn't in the plan. I don't approve. I'm sorry. Hello, Crossman Jeff. Oh, look at this. Aaron, new patron! Peter Grosso, new patron! Woo! I don't know if I just outed somebody. Whatever. I assume it's real. Thank you guys. This it's one of the less valued and understood aspects is having a modicum of stability in this game is a very empowering game changer. Okay. Well, crap. If I can't update the Stream Deck, and I do have a family that wants to watch Severance, play Jackbox. Theo Man 971 says Monorug was my #1 go-to channel for years. Thank you so much for all the entertainment you've given me. Both me and Jason are a huge part of your free time, and just want to give you my gratitude. Well, thank you very much, Theo Man 971. That means a lot. As I am fond of saying, there are people who, you know, when they come out for, let's say, Founders Day or whatever, they'll often say, like, it's so weird that, you know, I've seen you, but you haven't seen me. And I always point out that we have a very real but highly asymmetrical friendship. And every so often, it gets to be real time. Yep. We could definitely do Jackbox with the viewers. That'll be a good one. All right, I'm gonna hit the dopamine button just once. Oh, nope. Now it's down from 10% down to 7%. This is why you should not hit the dopamine button. It is important to look at the numbers and get the raw feed because that's the equivalent of hearing audiences' applause. So you want to be there for it, but you don't want to engage in it to an unhealthy level. Speaking of unhelpful and healthy, I hope that this has been helpful, and I hope it was healthy that we went so very long. Ooh, we started just before 6 o'clock. This is 2.5 hours. That's a lot of fun. Oh yeah, PortCon Maine. Brendan, that was a really, really fun. Yep, that's all of that tracks what Brendan's saying. That was a lot of fun. I remember playing the improv game there. That was terrifying and intimidating to do, but it was a lot of fun. I remember I made a few jokes that were pretty funny. And by the way, I'll be at DragonCon this year. Was looking at VidCon, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Crossman Jeff. I didn't really think about that, but I guess it did kind of become State of the Should. So spread the good word. I don't know how long all of the live streams are going to live out in public. Part of the patronage thing is that there's got to be something inside. I think in terms of, you know, Circus Big Top or whatever, you have what they call the outside talker, which gives kind of their own performance, but you want to get people inside the tent, which means you got to hold something back. So there's only so much extra that I can create just to be shown on the inside. But there's a lot of stuff that we could pull back there. But yeah. So anyway, enjoy all this. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for everything you guys have made possible. Remember when this was state of the art? Now we're here. All right. We'll see you guys. I don't really have. I need things to show, so I'll do that. Bye, guys. Bye, Twitch. Thank you, Diamond Club.